Ah, spring, when our eyes glint a little brighter, our smiles get a bit bigger, and the sun shines a bit longer. Well, we're promised it's going to get here. And in the meantime, we have two new ways for you to celebrate the onset of the spring and Easter seasons in Butler County, Pennsylvania on this episode of Showreel. Strand Theater on Main Street in Zillionople encouraged you to spend part of your Easter season for their production of what was originally a concept album turned musical turned global phenomenon, Jesus Christ Superstar. But they're in the middle of rehearsals right now, so we're going to go next door to the cafe to meet and talk with some of the stars and the director of the show. I am with Jeremy Zarniak, the Associate Director of Theater Operations here at the Strand Theater, and also the Director of this upcoming production of Jesus Christ Superstar. Jeremy, thanks again for joining us for Showreel.
Thanks for having me again.
Jesus Christ Superstar is certainly an interesting phenomenon. It was produced at the Strand 2 years ago and was certainly its biggest seller from an in-house production standpoint ever.
That's right.
And it's back for the 2018 season, and it's already starting to sell, I understand, quite well.
Very well. Yeah,
So,
we're very
what do you attribute shows like Jesus Christ Superstar? I mean, what's so unique about it?
I think one of the things about it is the score. You know, it's the music that it's very iconic. People know so many of the songs. Funny enough, people come to the show and sometimes they start singing along, sometimes a little too loudly.
That's right. That is true.
but that's fun. You know, that's part of it. I think the story. Certainly timeless, certainly appropriate for the time of year that we are coming into. And I think that it's a way to tell a story that is incredibly moving in a unique way that is so modern that it can connect with another audience that might not otherwise know much about the story.
That's very good. That's a very valid point. There's just so many interesting nuances about this particular show. And what's really exciting about the Strand in particular is that a show like this can be presented in such an intimate space.
It truly is. You know, you go to theaters that are 1,500 seats, 2,000 seats, and you miss every little movement or maybe a gesture or a look. So many great moments between Judas and Christ that being so close, you really feel like you're part of the story. You really feel like you're in the presence of these people and that you are witnessing it as they are witnessing it.
So it almost immerses the audience in the story itself.
It really does, yeah. And that's what I love about pretty much all of the things we get to do at the Strand, that we can get the people so involved in what they're seeing.
And the talent level truly is amazing.
It's exceptional. Very fortunate and lucky to get the people that we have for the show. You'll be meeting Billy Mason, who is our Judas, Jason Swager, who is our Jesus Christ. Both tremendous performers. Both I've worked with many times. Billy is in New York. He's doing tours. He's doing just about everything you can do in the theater. And Jason and I went to college together.
Oh, really?
We did.
Way back in 19...
Yeah, that was the year.
Excellent.
You know, so it's funny the journey we've had together and then away from each other for many years, and to kind of reconnect and reunite over a project like this is even that much more exciting.
It's certainly amazing to have the talent level that is here at the Strand Theater, because yeah, you can go to Broadway and see some of these people on these massive stages in front of thousands of patrons, but then to be able to see them eye to eye, it's really a very unique experience, isn't it?
It really is. And when you layer on top of that an incredible pit of musicians, of live music, and for this show, especially, it's a rock concert. You know, it's a show, but it was designed as a concept album.
Right.
It was a rock and roll concert first, and the very first U.S. production that was a concert, it wasn't a show,
right,
was done in Pittsburgh.
Really?
The very first
Where?
American debut was done at what I believe was the I don't know if the Civic Arena was there yet, or the Syria Mosque maybe.
It might have been. We'll have to research that.
We'll have to look into it, but I just actually
was in Pittsburgh.
Just saw an interview with Andrew Lloyd Webber, one of the who wrote the music to the show, and he talks about how it was an arena concert. It was never really meant to be a show, and when they came to the States and they put it together, they debuted it in Pittsburgh.
Well, it's a very, very exciting show. It's a very exciting production. We're very excited to get a chance to see it again at the Strand Theater. I know it runs from March 23rd to the 31st.
Right.
But heading past, eventually spring is going to get here.
I don't know.
And the Strand is going to be ready. So what other shows are coming up on the horizon?
We've got a lot of great things. We've got an original piece coming up called Sing It Sister, which is a great tribute to all the girl groups from the 20s, like Andrew Sisters and those types of things, all the way through contemporary music.
Oh,
and
wow.
Vogue.
That'll be very exciting.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that show. We've got great tribute shows. We've got John Denver tribute. We've got a Beatlemania show. We've got a Jim Croce tribute. So there's really something happening pretty much every weekend at the Strand. And yes, the sun will come out, as they say in a famous musical, and we will get to spring.
I certainly am looking forward to that, as we all are, and I think that's going to be a fantastic program. And Jeremy, thanks so much for joining us for Showreel.
Sure, thanks.
I am with Billy Mason, who portrays Judas on the Strand's production of Jesus Christ Superstar. Billy, thanks for being here for Showreel.
Oh, thank you.
So, tell me about the character of Judas and what do you find so interesting about him?
Well, he is a very, very conflicted character, very misunderstood. He's someone who's sort of an advocate for what Jesus is trying to do, but I feel gets a little bit wrapped up in the worrying about it getting too large, what the repercussions of that would be, and therefore sort of takes matters into his own hands. Especially in this version of the story, I feel that he's really more concerned with everyone's well-being more so than he is just with a selfish sort of plan.
Yeah, hardly the villain that is described in the biblical story itself.
Yes.
He's much more human, a much more in-depth type character.
Definitely. I feel that when this character was written, particularly since the show is sort of taken from his point of view, they really took a moment to humanize why he would do the things he did, sort of give a commentary on how he thought about all of these steps, and then gives him a chance to come back at the end and sort of say, oh, I understand things now I didn't before.
Right.
So I like the fact that he gets that chance.
That's very interesting. And this is the second time you've played the role here at the Strand.
Yes.
Have you done Jesus Christ Superstar anywhere else?
This will be my fifth Jesus Christ Superstar.
Fifth production, and
Yes.
in the role of Judas?
No, this is my second Judas.
Okay.
In fact, when Jeremy called me 2 years ago and asked me about the show, he said, Jesus Christ Superstar, are you interested? And I said, yes, I'd love to play Pilate. Then about a day and a half later, I get an email, could you look at Judas? To which I said, I'm going to have to listen to the score again and make sure I can do that.
Sure.
And then I reluctantly, honestly, I said, yes, I'll do this. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, and then obviously you're back, so did it go fairly well for you?
It really did. I think it's actually one of the better characters I've ever had a chance to explore, because, you know, coming from a very Baptist childhood, I had a very preconceived notion of who Judas was, of course, based on the biblical teaching, so I really got a chance to explore that.
And challenge it, I would think.
Very challenging, and I read a lot of biographies about the Judas Iscariot character and really tried to find some human qualities to him, and it was a nice challenge, actually.
Well, the Strand is very excited to be able to have you back, because I know you're a very busy guy. Now, you used to live in Pittsburgh, and now you're in New York City?
Yes, I live in New York now. I lived there for the last 2 years, actually, shortly after the last time we did Superstar. I've been back and forth working for Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera quite a bit. I've done some other shows. I've filmed a TV show very recently.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yes, and that announcement will be coming at some point. I also do a lot of recording and voiceover work and stuff like that, so I keep very busy, and I'm still coaching. I do a lot of acting coaching and vocal coaching and things like that.
Have you established that in New York City, or is that mainly still here in the Burgh?
I actually have established that now in New York as well. So I have students that are transient that travel back and forth. I do a lot of Skype training, and I do a lot of the adults now that are
21st century.
Yes, I know. You can do anything over the internet now, which is amazing, and I love that. So yeah,
wonderful.
Yes.
Well, Billy, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It's going to be a very exciting production, March 23rd to the 31st, and we are looking forward to seeing your return as Judas.
Well, thank you very much.
This is Jason Swager, who is playing Jesus in the Strand production of Jesus Christ Superstar. Jason, thanks for joining us for Show Reel.
Glad to be here.
Well, tell me about your interest in the character of Jesus. I mean, it's got to be a tough one to try to fulfill the role.
It's unbelievable. Being a Christian, it's an important role for me to tell the story, to humanize him.
And he really is humanized in this one, isn't he?
He is. I mean, because it's told through the eyes of Judas. You know, we have all of our gospels that we've been given, but we've never been given the gospel of Judas. So I think Andrew Lloyd Webber, when he wrote this, he wrote the gospel according to Judas. So it is told
That's a
through.
very interesting take.
Yeah, it's told through his eyes, and it does humanize Jesus. And after all, Jesus was a man. He's the Son of God, but he was a man. So trying to play my Savior is humbling, to say the least. But it puts everything into perspective of what this man did for us. So that's one of the good things to take from it. The hard thing, though, is emotionally what I have to go through throughout the entire show.
It has to be very emotionally draining.
Oh, it's so tiring by the end. It really is. Vocally and physically and emotionally, this role just has all three together.
That's a very, very valid point. And we're very excited to have you in the role of Jesus. This is our second production, as you're probably well aware. But you've got some really impressive performance credentials. Just where have you been and what have you done?
Well, let's start with Jesus Christ Superstar, which I think it's probably my 10th time that I've done this show.
Now, how often have you played Jesus?
I played Jesus 5 years ago down in Beaver County. Most recently, I was Simon last year up in Greensburg. I've played Pontius Pilate down at Pittsburgh Musical Theater. I played Judas once.
Really?
20 minutes before the show at the Byam, I was told, you're going on for Judas. Having grown up with the album and done it so many times, I was able to actually jump in and do the role.
No, you weren't understudying him, or were you understudying?
I was understudying Judas, Jesus, and Pilate, under the assumption that I wouldn't have to go on for any of them.
Right.
Especially not for Judas. Jesus, I knew the role very well, but I had to go on for Judas.
Oh, my goodness.
And I made it happen somehow. Beyond that, if you can see the elbow, there's Tommy Pickles from Nickelodeon. I worked for Nickelodeon for 3 years.
Oh, really?
I hosted Double Dare, the game show. And then I was...
Like they did like a live tour or something?
They did a live tour. It's called the All That Music and More Festival. I was with Nick Cannon, Kenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live. And then before that, I was in Rugrats, a live adventure. And I was a female opera singer. Every time Reptar came on the stage, I sang as a female opera singer. It was quite funny, written by Mark Mothersbaugh, the lead singer for Devo, wrote some cool music for it. So I'd done that for, oh my gosh, that had to have been 3 years. Then on Double Dare, I don't know if you know this story, I broke my back.
No, I did not know that.
And I broke my pelvis in 5 places.
Oh, wow.
Was wheelchair ridden.
Because of a performance?
Setting up for a performance. The whole cart fell on top of me.
Oh, boy.
So we weren't sure if I was going to walk, let alone dance again. But through lots of physical therapy, I'm back. That's been 17 years since that happened.
Well, you certainly would not know at all. You're in great shape and moves very, very well. We'll hopefully get some good footage of the show while we're here.
Awesome.
But we're very excited because one of the great things about the Strand is that where it hangs its reputation is on the talent that comes in to fulfill these principal roles. And we're very excited to have you here.
Well, it's good to be back. Last year, of course, Adam and Noah in
That's right.
Children of Eden had a blast doing that.
Critically acclaimed performance, yes.
I've been fighting to get up here to the Strand again because this space is just, I mean, there's nothing like it. And
oh, really?
The audience, it's incredible. I've been in several old movie theaters that have been turned into stage theaters. No one did it as well as the Strand has done it. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Write that down.
There's not a bad seat in the house. You're so close to what's going on stage that you feel like you're a part of it. And for me as an actor, to be able to not make everything huge like I'm performing to 2,500 people and portray an intimate performance of Jesus Christ Superstar that's a blessing to be able to do that.
Wonderful.
So I'm
Well,
looking forward to the show growing.
We are very excited to have you here.
Thank
we are
you.
very much looking forward to the production, which runs March 23rd to the 31st.
Be there.
We've had the pleasure of talking with Noelle Reynolds of the Cranberry Artist Network on previous episodes of Showreel. But today we'll be talking with a few of their different board members and showcasing not one, but 2 art shows here at the Cranberry Township Municipal Center. This is the Cranberry Artists Network. I am with Cathy Bish, who is in charge of public relations with the Cranberry Artist Network. Cathy, thank you for joining us for Showreel.
Oh, glad to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to talk with somebody from Cranberry Artist Network when there actually is a show happening in the Cranberry Township Municipal Center.
Right, we've got 2 shows.
And that's one of the things we wanted to talk about. Now, the couple of times we've met with Noelle Reynolds on previous episodes of Showreel, she's talked about some upcoming shows and the background of the Cranberry Artist Network, but why don't you just give me a quick summary of how the Cranberry Artist Network came about and what you do?
Well, it came about because there was a need in Cranberry Township for an art presence, and we started out actually as part of the Butler Art Center, but we wanted to have our shows here.
Sure.
And it's a good distance between the 2 places. So
Well, I mean, Cranberry as growing by leaps and bounds the way it has,
is.
and being a good half hour from Butler, that certainly makes sense. You'd want to have your own space.
Right, and we like the space at the municipal building because it's right in the public eye.
Sure.
We've drawn in people from 4 counties to be members of Cranberry Artist Network.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So the artists aren't just members of Butler County?
Oh, no. We have Beaver County, Allegheny County, Lawrence County, Butler County, all represented.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, we have a lot of people come here.
Wonderful. And
because they want to be somewhere where the people are.
Sure.
Instead of tucked away in a little gallery.
Instead of trying to make a gallery a destination,
Right.
the destination is already in place because people come here anyway.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Exactly. And even if they don't always come to this particular, it's easy to find.
Sure.
It's right here.
Absolutely. I mean, it is right in the heart of Cranberry Township.
It is.
So how long has the network been around?
We started in 2014 with just 8 members. And I think our first show, we might have had 40.
Okay.
We were actually not here in the municipal building. That was when they were renovating. So we had a show at the Keystone Center up in Warrendale.
Okay.
But all of our other shows have been here at the municipal building.
Fantastic. And so you start out with 8 members. And how many do you have today?
86.
86 members of the Cranberry Artist
Yes.
Network. And that's grown in just 4 years for all
Yes.
intents and purposes, right?
Yes. And we have a lot of people that want to screen. We're going to have a new screening for new members here in March, on March 19th, here at the municipal building.
Okay, well, what's involved if I want to become a member of the network?
What you have to do is bring 3 pieces of recent work that are all similar in media, so that we can, see that you're really interested in developing as an artist.
Okay.
And then we have a checklist that there's usually a quorum of the board at the screening, and each person goes down the checklist and figures out what they think of the work, and then we tally it all together, and that's how we choose our members.
Okay, so it's certainly not a given
No,
to become a member if you submit the materials.
right.
Wonderful. So it really is something that you're not just getting artwork out there, you're getting people that want to be professionals.
Right, or amateurs that are really serious about their art. It's
Okay.
hard to become a professional artist.
Understandable.
You can't, it's hard to make a living as an
Sure.
artist, but that they're really serious about their commitment to, it's more like a commitment
to getting that work out there
right,
and continually
developing as an artist.
fine-tuning your skills.
Right.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you talking to us a little bit about the background. I understand that we actually have 2 shows going on here, and then we'll be talking with another member of the board about those shows.
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
And this is Marcy Bogdan. She's also with the Cranberry Artist Network. I understand, Marcy, you're the treasurer and also in charge of food.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's very important.
That is a
yes.
very important part of the
Yes, it
organization, I'm sure. Now, I understand that there are not one, but two shows happening here at the Cranberry Municipal Center.
That is correct. Actually, the Cranberry Municipal Center has been quite supporter of the arts, and so they've given us one back hallway in which we can plan shows to go on whenever.
So is that a new development?
Yes, it is. It's just actually the first one is on display right now, and it's honoring the International Women's Day, and it is called the International Women's Show.
Oh, fantastic. So
Yeah.
what kind of artwork would I expect to find wandering down that
I
hallway?
think you basically find what you find in most of our shows because there are many different medias that artists use.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see painting, fibers, acrylics, photography, pastels. So
Great. And so that is going to be an ongoing, almost an ongoing gallery,
correct.
and there'll be different shows coming on all the time.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing about it is you might feature an artist,
Mm-hmm.
or they would like to feature the plein air painting group, or maybe just pick another theme. But that space will always be available for our use.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah,
that's
it
pretty
is.
exciting. You're going to
It
have
is.
there'll be an ongoing presence of artwork here in the Municipal
Correct.
Center. But that's the smaller show.
Yes.
There's also a bigger show. These don't happen quite so often, but they are much more representative of the membership, I suppose, of the
Correct.
Cranberry Artist Network.
Yes.
And what's the name of this particular show that's going on right now?
This show is called Drip, Drizzle, and Splash.
Drip,
and it's,
Drizzle, and Splash. Okay.
Yes, it's kind of a welcoming to spring.
Wouldn't we
and-
all like to welcome spring?
Well, yeah, especially today.
Yes, absolutely.
Actually, so the artists were given the directive to, through a style or a technique or a theme, take those words and create their own artwork and their own vision of what that means.
Okay, so that drip, drizzle, and splash is representative of trying to basically come up with something that ties
Yeah.
all the artwork together. So as you go from place to place and admire the artwork, you'll be able to identify what might that theme be.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrific. And how many artists are represented in the big show, in the Drip, Drizzle, and
We
Splash
have
show?
almost 80 pieces of artwork here. Many
Wonderful.
Of the, yeah, it's great. Many of the artists have 2 pieces. We were able to submit 2 if we wished.
Okay.
This has an even wider range because it includes jewelry, ceramics, sculpture.
Oh, wonderful. So this is
Yeah.
not just two-dimensional stuff. This is
No.
all over the place. Wonderful. That's really fantastic. And besides the Drip, Drizzle, and Splash show, what other bigger shows are going to be on display here?
The large one that we do in conjunction with the Community Chest of Cranberry is Martinez with Monet.
Okay.
And that's in July, and that is the kickoff for their big festival week
Okay.
in the summer. And that is, anyone can enter that show, not just members. This
Oh.
show is just a members show.
All right. That's interesting.
As
so
is
there's
the-
different
yeah.
there's different ways of presenting the artwork, it sounds like.
Correct. And
Members
it
and
is
non-members.
juried in, you're selected to be a part of that show. And then that's up for at least a month, I believe. I'm not sure when that one's being
Sure.
torn down. And then we have either a fall or a winter show for
Wonderful.
members.
Well, it sounds very exciting. So we've talked a little bit about how the group has grown over the course of just
Yeah.
a few years, and some very exciting programming that's happening here right at the Municipal Center.
It's great.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for featuring us. We appreciate it.
You bet. I'm now talking with Mary Mason, who is also on the board with the Cranberry Artist Network. But I understand your job is a little bit different, that you're in charge of what they call programming.
Yes.
Now, what's involved with programming if it's not to do with the public displays of artwork going on around here?
Okay, besides the opportunity to show your work, which that's our main interest, 2 times a year we have a meeting.
Okay.
And the meeting, it's very short, it's a business meeting. And then we have a artist come and do a demonstration.
Oh, really?
And we bring in really big artists. Some are international, some are state artists. We had Ron Donahue come, who is a fabulous painter. He paints cityscapes and plein air. And so at each meeting, you have the opportunity to witness the work and the demonstration of skills of a fantastic artist.
So this is an artist that you bring in, does he create a piece of artwork right there in front of you?
Right there in front of us. Yeah,
Wow.
and it's not always painting, because we've had people that did we've had a photographer, and we want to have a ceramicist, and so it's all different medias that we get to witness their work and their craftsmanship.
And this happens how often did you say?
2 times a year.
So 2 times a
Yeah.
year. Now, is this a board meeting, or are the membership invited to come in and be a part of this?
We invite the membership to come to the beginning, which is our board meeting, and then we open it up to the public if they would like to come, and because we're bringing art to the area, and we would love the public to come and enjoy the demonstration of
So where do you have these so there's enough room for everybody?
we have a room here that's pretty large.
Oh, here in the Municipal Center?
At the Municipal Center, yes.
Wow. So really, everything happens at the Municipal Center.
Exactly.
For the most part. I mean,
Yes.
it sounds like you've got the actual programs here, the gallery displays. 2 shows can be going on at any given time. And you also have these internal programs where you have these artists brought in, and everything happens right here at the Municipal Center.
Right. Well, one situation is it's out plein air. The plein air painters start in April, and Mary Jane Hadley and Cathy Bish, and it's on our website. They meet at a location and they spend the half of a day painting or sketching, like in different parts of the whole county in Butler.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of the information about the Cranberry Artist Network is available on the website. So we should
Right.
definitely let the public know, where do you go to get information about the Cranberry Artist Network?
Now, during the winter months when we cannot plein air, we have a model come on the first Tuesday of every month, and that's open to the public, and they can come and sketch to learn figure drawing, the model. We're not teaching,
Sure.
we're just all enjoying sketching, or we have a person that does clay.
Great.
And one of the pieces are here that he's done.
So if I want to become a member of the Cranberry Artist Network, or if I'm just a member of the public and I want to find out information, where do I go to find out about that?
You go to cranberryartistnetwork.com, or you can go to Facebook, and we're also on Twitter.
So you really have the social media platforms covered as well.
We do.
Great. Well, Mary, it's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about the Cranberry Artist Network on Showreel.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's spring in Pittsburgh. And whether you want to celebrate it by visiting a beautiful art display in Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania, or enjoying a live production of Jesus Christ Superstar in Zillionople in Butler County, Pennsylvania, we have things to warm your heart. I'm Ron Carter for Showreel. If you would like to find out more about arts and culture in Butler County, PA, be sure to visit the online calendar on the website of the Butler County Tourism and Convention Bureau.